So why does an avoidant partner find an anxious partner and try to have a relationship with them? The best answer that I can provide is, number one, we attract our opposite. And the second thing is that we deep down understand which partner is going to help us grow. We're attracted to somebody that is our opposite or possesses characteristics and traits that we want to have, but we don't allow ourselves to accept within ourselves. So we put them onto another person who seems ideal to us, and that is who we attract as the anxious partner. With the avoidant, they are looking for somebody to meet their needs because they want to give as minimal effort as possible, usually because they fear connection, but still receive the love, the gratification that comes with being in a relationship. Obviously, an avoidant and anxious people are on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they are going to trigger each other's trauma all of the time, basically by just existing. Because everything that the anxious person wants from the avoidant is exactly what the avoidant is uncomfortable with and tries to elude. So it brings them into this cycle of constantly getting hurt. And I really want to take a moment and acknowledge how much pain and suffering it must be for the anxious person to be in that relationship. I don't want to take away from that because I understand how hurtful it can be. I understand how much pain can be involved in this, and you feel like you're always doing something and not receiving even half of what you put in back. You're constantly contemplating whether or not you should be in this relationship, and then when your avoidant partner occasionally allows the anxious person to get close to them and then pulls back away, and that leaves the anxious partner wondering whether or not they should stay in this relationship because sometimes they get that closeness that they desire, and other times they feel like maybe this relationship isn't for them because it's so painful. Unfortunately, this relationship dynamic is very common. This is the way that you would describe an anxious and avoidant attachment trap. In my past videos that I've touched on attachment theory, I've noticed that a lot of people harbor resentment and hurt. There's a lot of hurt people. I completely understand that. But it is your choice to be in that relationship. And when you're giving so much power to your avoidant partner, you are surrendering to them in a way that's toxic for you and for the other person. As a coach, it hurts me to see this because I know a lot of people, maybe even in a way that they don't realize, are so used to suffering and they are so comfortable suffering that they continue staying in this position. And what happens is that it creates a ripple effect where everything just feels more intense and these things keep coming up. Nothing is changing in the relationship. And then they wonder when all of this stops. It could lead to a lot of hatred, a lot of resentment in that relationship if this continues on for a long period of time. The way to help yourself in this relationship is really three main paths that can be chosen. The first is to continue suffering in that relationship, and this can actually continue through decades. Believe it or not, people can stay miserably in that relationship and neither person leave for a very, very long time. But what that will do eventually is destroy that relationship. The second thing that you can do is leave that person. You can choose to start anew, look for somebody that is more compatible with you. And your third option would be to become a secure person in yourself and to have an influential effect on your partner. And I know you cannot change every single person, but there are so many things that you can do that are within your control, especially in an intimate relationship. So I want to make this video to remind you. I bet your relationship wasn't as hard and heartbreaking as it is right now. And you can probably remember a time when you and your partner were doing pretty good and you were so infatuated with them. You probably showed up like a different person in that relationship, and so did your partner. And it was like you guys were vibing off of each other, bringing the best version of yourself or the potential that you could be into that relationship. This is before something bad happened or a conflict arose where you saw that your partner might not be as compatible for you as you thought. If you want to influence your partner, You can do this, but you need to understand that this is something that you're working on, both on yourself individually, like internal work, doing your things to become more secure. And then because of that, from a place of self-love and respect, you are going to show up as the best version of yourself. You're going to show compassion to your partner, and this is going to influence the way that they act towards you, the way that they perceive you, and the relationship as a whole. You can definitely try to do this on your own, and my best reference for you would be to watch this video next that I'm going to link. It is How to Live with an Anxious Man, and this is geared towards women, but men can watch this also. So by examining your own relationship, you can understand what is needed. I don't want to sugarcoat it and say that this is something easy to do, because it is intentional and it does require you at first to pay attention to your habits, pay attention to how you show up in that relationship, the internal thoughts that you have while you're interacting with your partner and outside of that. But I wanted to create a program that would help you for at least the first 30 days to get this new routine going, to kind of reset your relationship. And I call this program How to Save Your Relationship with Your Avoidant Partner. You can check that out in the description box below, and it will literally walk you through how to become more secure just by investing 15 minutes a day. If you want to try to do this on your own, then you need to pay attention to what I just said, which was your thoughts, the way that you show up in that relationship, and on your own insecurities that are being triggered by your partner. The more that you do this, the more practice that you get, the better you're going to become at it, and the more easy it is going to be. But I know a lot of people struggle, especially when you've been used to doing something for so long in a certain way. It can be so hard to get out of your habits, to do something differently, especially when your brain already set those behaviors into autopilot. Being in a relationship with the dynamic of an anxious and avoidant partner is not the easiest one, but I promise you that it can cause both of you to grow together and individually and become the best versions of yourselves if you choose to embark on this journey. My husband and I are actually in a dynamic that was like that until I started changing things and learning about how I can improve this relationship. I am so grateful that I learned the information that I did, but that also gives me the unique perspective to understand exactly where you're coming from, especially if you are the anxious partner. I know exactly how it was. I remember the feelings. I remember going through all of it. That is why I included 25 of the most common issues that occur in this relationship dynamic and how to fix it, how to work your way out of it so that you can work on building that secure relationship where both of you are satisfied. If you made it all the way to the end and you have any questions for me, please leave them down below in the comments. I do read all of them. And I thank you so much for your time. I want to wish you all of the love in your love life, and I will see you guys in my next video.